Listen, I don't know what you heard, but my house is definitely worth 1.5 million. What's going on, top producers? Alexander Fazelani here, and today we are going to break down the sales price objection. But before we do that, I'm gonna need you to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so we can bring this content to you every Tuesday and Friday for free 99. Okay, so this objection is something that us as real estate agents have to deal with forever. We've always dealt with it, but because we've been in this crazy sales market before 2020 and to now where everything's been going up and away, sellers in their mind more than ever have a specific price or have this opinion of how many people are going to come and want to buy their property. But guess what, guys? That's not the case anymore. Listen, interest rates are 6% and only rising now, right? So, right now they're in the high fives, but for all we know, they could be going to 7s, 8s, 10s, 20s. So we're gonna break that objection down now into 3 different phrases. The first thing we're going to do is obviously we're gonna need to have our comps on point. All right, there's nothing worse than going to a listing presentation without comps and actually being able to explain those comps, right? So first thing you're gonna wanna have is 3 to 6 expireds, things that were in the higher price range that shouldn't have been in the higher price range, and they basically expired on the market, right? You're also going to want to show some things on the market that may have been sitting there for 190 days, 160 days and not moving because the price is way too high, right? You're also going to want to have the competition. You're going to want to have things that are in similar condition to the house that you're potentially checking out, right? So one thing that I always do, and I always ask, you can ask your potential client this, but hey, do you have any pictures of the inside that I can take a look at just so I can get a good idea of what condition your kitchen is in and your bathroom are in? Because if you can look at those 2 things, you can kind of get a really good idea of what the house looks like inside, right? Because the worst case scenario is if you're pricing something like in the mid market but has lower market finishes, or you're pricing something at top of the market, which is even worse, but has lower end finishes, right? We don't want to be too far away from our price, because at the end of the day, price is what really sells anything, right? If you have the wrong price, it doesn't matter how beautiful the house is, it's never going to sell. I've actually had a situation personally where one of my agents was going to list this property, but they were going to take it 150,000 above the market value. And guess what, guys? You can take as many listings as you want that are way too priced too high, and you're never ever going to be able to sell it, because the appraisal is going to come back short, and B, nobody's going to want to overpay for it, right? So that's the situation. So one is you're definitely going to want to get your comps on point. The second thing that you're going to want to do when handling this objection is not getting defensive. And I get it. Trust me, I've been in the industry for almost 10 years, and there's times where it's hard for me to hear the logic of, why don't we try to price it 100,000 above and then we'll bring it down later, right? I've heard that so many times, and it's hard not to be like, hey, listen, I've been doing this for a long time, and what you're saying doesn't make sense, right? Trust me, guys, this is an emotional situation. This is an emotional process for your clients. So you're gonna have to show some empathy here. You're gonna have to show some restraint, and don't get defensive and try to make it a battle of, my price is right and your price is wrong, right? What you're going to do is, you're gonna have to cushion that. So I like to say we cushion the objection, right? So when they say, hey, I know what you're saying. You said that my house is worth 500,000, but like 6 months ago it was worth 550, 560. And you'll be like, listen, I hear what you're saying. I wish I can sell your house for 560, right? But based on the comps that we ran and the situation of what's going on with these interest rates and things going through the roof, we have to be strategic here, right? Because we don't want to play with our price any lower. I've actually had a client that wanted to wait for the right opportunity, and the price kept going down and down and down and down, and eventually they didn't get what the price that the agent wanted or what they wanted originally. So we have to actually be realistic here and be able to play ball with the current market. This is what your competition is. Based on what the competition is, where do you think your price lies, right? I also have a specific close that I like to use in regards to pricing, where I draw a straight line down a piece of paper. I draw a circle over here, a circle over here, and then I put a slash in between where I think their house lies, right? So I have the top of the market, I have the bottom of the market, and then I ask them a question based on the condition of your house. Where do you think your house falls on this scale, right? So in my opinion, so I'll give them my opinion. In my professional opinion, I think it falls in the upper mid market, or I think it falls in the middle market, or I think it falls a little under on the market based on what I've seen in the current situation, right? So you have to break it down and crystallize their thinking, and you're not going to be able to do that if you're coming at the comps very combative and saying this is what we can sell for because this is what my comps say and what you're saying is wrong, right? No, you don't want to do that. You want to cushion the blow, show how that you would sell it for $1 million if you could, but the reality is that we need to be competitive in this market, or it's just going to sit there for a long time, and that's not going to make you happy with me. It's not going to make you happy with yourself. It's definitely not going to make you happy about the whole real estate process as a whole. All right, so that's number 2. The third thing that you're going to want to crystallize as well for your client is letting them know what's going on in the current market. Have the conversation before you even talk about price, before you even talk about comps, about where the market is, what's happening in the market, right? Start some small talk about how interest rates are rising and what you're seeing in the market, right? Educate them on that so that they're prepped for what's going to happen when it comes to the actual conversation about price, right? There's nothing better than actually having that conversation and prepping that conversation prior to actually having it. There's something so strong about that, and if you actually do that correctly, when you actually get to the price, they're going to trust you and your ability to actually handle this market because you're educated on it, right? So there you have it, guys. Those are the 3 things that you need to have set in order to handle this objection. There's no mind judo when it comes to it. It's all about educating and being in direct contact with them. Another question that I know I'm probably going to get in the comments below, or from anybody who DMs me, is what happens if they don't agree on the price? What happens if they're like, listen, I really want to try for 560, right? And that's it. Like, that's the number I want now, right? They're like, listen, I completely understand. How about this? Let's level it out here. My number is 500. Your number is 560. How about this? How about we try it for 530 for 2 weeks, right? If we'll market it for 2 weeks, and if nothing happens in those first 2 weeks at 530, right, then we'll lower the price to my price. If we get a lot of people in and there's a massive flood to the property like you project, then we'll raise it to 560 and try to get you the price that you want. How does that sound, right? That's a win-win situation. You're working with them, not against them, and it's really going to help you out. So there you have it, guys. Also, if you haven't already, go check out Design for Agents. There's a lot of free education there. We have about 25 plus free hours of education. And if you haven't signed up for Marketing Monday, go do so. Every Monday we drop marketing tips, advertising tips to help you become a better marketer and a better agent overall, so you can get more customers into your database. And as always, guys, my name is Alexander Fazelani. I'm always here, so you can always hit me up in the DMs, and I'm more than happy to break down all this for you or unpack anything with you. You could check me out on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and I'm an open book. And as always, guys, we wish you many happy clients, closings, and accepted offers. But for the time being, I will see you guys in the next video.